The March 8th, 2021 regular Wasilla City Council meeting is called to order. The time is 6 p.m. Before we begin, council, please put away cell phones. If you have personal business to attend to during this meeting, please move for a recess. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Rausa?
Here.
Councilmember Johnson?
Here by the phone.
Councilmember Burney?
Here.
Councilmember Vlock? Councilmember Brown?
Here.
Councilmember Harvey?
Here.
You do have a quorum, Madam Mayor. Council members Rausa, Burney, and Brown are participating in person. We have council members Johnson and Harvey telephonic. I do expect Councilmember Vlock. I know she's traveling out of state, so I'm going to assume she had some sort of conflict. And so unless there's objection from the council, we'll excuse her absence, or she may join us later in the meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Burney, would you please lead us?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item of business is approval of the agenda. Are there any changes?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I have some interest in moving some items from the consent agenda.
Okay.
It would be ordinance serial number 2105.
Okay.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Councilmember Rausa, if I may, through the chair to Councilmember Rausa, that's actually just up for introduction. So if you, probably the most, I would introduce it, move for introduction, and then our next meeting after the public hearing is closed, discussion and debate will ensue, and then ask questions at that time, if that's okay with the body.
Yes, thank you. One of the resolutions, resolution serial number 2105, I'd like to move from the consent agenda. And that is it.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I also have one.
Mr. Harvey?
I'd like to move AM 2114 to new business.
Okay. Finish new business. Okay, 2105 and 2114 are moved to new business. After the changes, is there any objection to the approval of agenda as amended? Hearing none, the agenda is approved as amended. Next on the agenda is special orders of the day and the presentation of 2 LifeSaver Awards. On the morning of February 21st, 2021, MATCOM Supervisor Val Pennington fielded an emergency 911 call from a caller reporting their spouse was having extreme difficulty breathing. Supervisor Pennington was quickly able to identify ineffective breathing on the patient and walk the panicked caller through appropriate CPR instructions to help the patient. Wasilla EMS and Rescue were quickly paged out by Val's partner. Ms. Pennington was able to continue in an appropriate CPR and post-dispatch instructions for the following 9 minutes. During this time, Ms. Pennington's instruction kept the caller's rhythm for CPR on point while continuing to gather other pertinent information for responding units. Upon arrival, Wasilla EMS continued CPR for an additional 9 minutes until return of the spontaneous circulation, the pulse, was detected. The patient was ultimately transported to the hospital. It was reported by Matsubara EMS that due to Valerie's quick response to ineffective breathing and providing appropriate instructions in CPR, this resulted in a life-saving effort. Jacob, would you and Mrs. Pennington please come forward?
Thank you for your hard work and dedication to the community. It really makes a positive impact. I want to give this LifeSaver pin to you in recognition of your actions.
Okay. On the evening of February 9th, 2021, MATCOM Dispatch Trainee Aidan Keller fielded an emergency 911 call from a citizen reporting her husband was not responding. Dispatch Trainee Keller was able to quickly put into action his training to instruct the caller in appropriate CPR actions. Matsubara EMS and Rescue were quickly paged out by his partners. Dispatch Trainer Keller continued in appropriate CPR and post-dispatch instructions for the following 8 minutes. Upon arrival, Matsubara EMS continued CPR for 2 minutes until pulse was detected. The patient was ultimately transported to the hospital. Once at the hospital, the patient regained consciousness and was able to breathe on his own and talk. Patient was able to walk out of the hospital a few hours later. It is recommended by Matsubara EMS that due to dispatcher trainee Keller's quick action due to ineffective breathing and providing appropriate instruction in CPR resulted in a life-saving effort. Mr. Keller, would you come forward, please?
Thank you for your dedication to the community. And thank you for the positive impact that you have on daily basis.
Next on the agenda is Commission and Agency Reports. Mr. Giddings, please report on the Air Show Advisory Committee.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. The committee met last week. Things are still moving forward. They're working kind of 3 big efforts. One is the fundraising. They're not doing any kind of raffle this year. They're going to put their efforts towards hats and T-shirts and at least one silent auction, possibly at the Elks Lodge. They're working on job assignments. There's a lot to do day of. Who's going to do what? So they're filling out those slots and recruiting people. And then lastly, order of events, what's going to happen, what's going to take place. So it's going to look a lot like it did last year. They're not adding anything, and they're charging ahead.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Giddings? Okay, there are no public hearings scheduled, so we'll now move to persons to be heard. Eileen.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. Wassie's getting a facelift. We're getting new floors in the dining area, so the dining hall is closed this week, but we are still doing pickup lunches from 11:30 to 12:30 for seniors to get their lunches. We're also moving forward on our new apartments. They're currently installing plumbing, electrical. It's going to be 40 apartments with a combination of 1 and 2 bedroom units. Some will be rented out at market rate, some will be rented out at income-based rate. They'll be available starting around November for seniors 55 and older. And if you know of anyone that might be looking for senior housing, you can have them contact WASI and get information regarding that availability. We are canceling our March fundraiser auction event and putting resources and energy into the June 5K event that we do every year. And we are always looking for sponsors for our daily meals and also for our Adopt a Route program for the Meals on Wheels program. So if you're interested in helping out in any way or know anyone that needs services, you can always contact WASI. We're here to help. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. How do we, if there's interested people to move in to the new facility, how would they get a hold of you?
Sorry?
If there's new people wanting to move into the new facility, how would they contact you?
Wasilla Area Seniors, and the phone number is, I don't know.
Email it out.
Eileen?
Yeah,
Would you like me to get that information?
that would be great, yes.
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah, it
There's a
just
couple
would be
residents
contacting
that
Wasilla Area
We're
Seniors.
inquiring about it, yeah.
Yes, and get the information, and then they'll take information from whoever's calling to find out what the needs are.
Fair enough, thank you.
You're welcome. Good.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the council at this time? Hearing none, does the council have anything else to pull from the consent agenda? Okay. Madam Clerk, please read the consent agenda.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Items for approval under this evening's consent agenda are the regular meeting minutes of February 22nd, 2021. We have two introductions for a recommended public hearing date of March 22nd, 2021. The first is ordinance serial number 2105, amending the fiscal year 2021 budget by appropriating $315,000 from the Water Fund fund balance for the Spruce Avenue Well House upgrade project. The second is ordinance serial number 2106, amending the fiscal year 2021 budget by appropriating $20,500 from the general fund balance for the Planning Department legal services through June 30th, 2021. Our resolution will be addressed under new business, as will AM number 2114. So the only other item under the consent agenda is AM number 2115, contract award to Tech Pro in the amount of $64,156 for the Spruce Avenue Well House upgrade project.
Thank you, ma'am. There is no unfinished business I need a motion.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I had initially asked if we could move ordinance serial number 2105, and of course it was kindly pointed out to me that this is just an introduction. I'm curious, I would like to have an opportunity to discuss that. Would you recommend that I just do that via email sometime between this meeting and the one where we're actually taking action on this item, or is it appropriate to move it now and discuss it at today's meeting?
Jane?
Through the chair to Councilmember Rausa, really the ordinance enactment procedure is the first step is simply to introduce it. The problem with moving it is you will get in, discussion will revolve around the merits of the ordinance, where really the motion on the floor is to introduce and set for public hearing. So my recommendation is that if you have questions in advance that you think will affect whether or not you voted up or down, if you could get those to staff so that staff is prepared, and then the discussion and the questions can ensue at the next meeting. At the next meeting, if you have still unanswered questions, you can always use the motion to postpone to the following meeting. But really, ultimately, it's up to the body. That's just my recommendation.
Yep, thank you.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move the recommendations for public hearing.
Okay.
Second by Councilman Johnson.
Yes, Councilman.
Madam Mayor, if I may, so the motion before the floor is to approve the consent agenda.
Yes.
As I read it into the record. That was moved by Councilmember Rausa with a second by Councilmember Johnson. The consent agenda? I thought Burney seconded it. Okay, I apologize. Thank you. Moved by Councilmember Burney, seconded by Tim Johnson to approve the consent agenda as read.
Is there any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion is approved. There's no unfinished business this evening, so we are moving on to new business. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First item under new business is 10.1, update from administration on emergency response efforts related to COVID-19.
There is no new updates at this time. 10.2.
Through the chair, I'll read item number 10.2, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the development of future COVID-19 relief and recovery grant programs for the city of Wasilla. Committee of the whole, action may be taken outside of committee of the whole.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move item 10.2 to come into committee of the whole.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Burney and seconded by Councilmember Harvey to enter into the committee of the whole. Is there any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion's approved. Troy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, to the council. I don't have any additional information relating to any new programs or anything like that. However, to give you an update on the finances of...
Madam Mayor, I think his mic might have cut off. I can't hear him anymore.
Start over through the Madam Mayor to council. As I was saying there, I don't have anything new to report on any new developments as far as new programs and the like. However, on the finances, the city has spent obviously 100% of the first $8 million. We're at 45% of the second $5.2 million. We've spent a total of little over $10.5 million to date. Phase 5 has 2 weeks left for the PPE, and as of today, we've given out $84,185. It's approximately 36 applications come in. There's about, 20-something, 22 that we've awarded. But outside of that, that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, is there any questions?
It's all going to change if this stimulus gets passed, I'm sure.
Any further discussion?
Madam Clerk, I'd like to move to come out of committee as a whole.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Burney and seconded by Councilmember Brown to exit the committee of the whole. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Madam Clerk, please read the items that was moved into the record.
First item that was moved is resolution serial number 2105. That's authorizing the mayor to execute a 10-year agreement with the Iditarod Trail Committee for the lease of the Iditarod headquarters building and property.
Is there a motion?
I move to approve resolution 2105.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Councilperson Johnson, and seconded by Councilperson Brown. Is there discussion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Rausa. So obviously it wouldn't be very popular of me to talk poorly about the lease of the Iditarod headquarters to great organization and everything. But I did want to discuss this on record a little bit. Kind of curious what the background is here a bit, and I noticed it's a 10-year lease with a 10-year option to renew, so we're looking at 20 years potentially. I know that the Iditarod trail, well, I know that they've had some financial issues recently, and I'm just curious what the city's opinion is, if any, on the Iditarod's ability to keep the property in good condition. I know they had their sign collapse at one point, and they've been hoping to rebuild and, you know, do something nice and new, but do they really have the funds, I guess, to keep up with the city over the next 20 years and what we kind of expect of folks that are leasing land from us? So that was kind of my question. And of course, I'm a huge proponent and supporter of the Iditarod, so I don't want to sound like a naysayer here, but I'm curious what the nuts and bolts are behind this.
Yeah, so they're pledging to keep doing what they have been doing, maintaining that property, maybe possibly even expanding some of the tourist attractions out there. They've had a change of management over the last couple of years. So the administration doesn't have any problem with proposing this or continuing this lease with the Trail Committee.
Could you tell us some of the things they're using the property for now?
It's their headquarters, number one, and number two, it's a tourist destination. They get tourist bus in there. There's a dog track, a loop in the back. In the summer, they'll run one or two dogs in a sled that's on wheels. They have quite a nice display in the building for tourists to view and look at the history of the Iditarod.
Thank you.
Does the lease include the structures, or do the structures belong to the Iditarod and the land strictly is what's leased? That's correct.
So it's a land lease. They developed, they had the funds to originally build the building and put it there. The city had the land, so it was a partnership in that respect.
Okay, thank you. And then just one last kind of angle that I wanted to ask about here is, of course, we all hope that the Iditarod race will continue in perpetuity. If for some reason it doesn't, is it expected that the Iditarod will still want that land for, you know, to promote tourism for historical reasons? You know, if the race were to, if something were to happen to the race, are we bound to a lease that it goes dead 6 years in and they move out, it's a ghost town? What happens with the lease at that point, you know, if the property is sort of abandoned or unused for some reason?
Yeah, if they elected to terminate the lease on, then we'd have to figure out what to do with the property.
Okay, thank you. Those were really my questions. Appreciate it.
Okay. The motion has been made to approve 21-05. Roll call vote.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If the council's ready to vote, Councilmember Rausa on the adoption of Resolution 2105.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Burney?
Yes.
Councilmember Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Harvey?
Yes.
Motion to approve resolution serial number 2105 passes unanimously with council members Rausa, Johnson, Burney, Brown, and Harvey in support. Councilmember Vlock is absent.
Thank you. Moving on to Resolution 21-14. Do I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move 2113.
Second?
AM 2114.
The motion has been made by Councilman Harvey and seconded by Councilman Rausa. We are moving on to discussion. I don't know what brings that today.
It's okay, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
We got your back.
Are you sure? Hey, I need to set you in where I want you.
Madam Mayor, would you like me to read that into the record?
Yes, please, Jamie.
Thank you. We do have a motion on the floor, but that's to approve AM number 2114 contract award to Nodak Electric in the amount of $86,352 for the MATCOM generator replacement project. We do have a motion on the floor.
Is there discussion? Mr. Harvey?
Madam Mayor, I just had a couple questions on this. I'm curious whether if the funds are just coming out of the city of Wasilla, or if we're using COVID funds to pay for this generator since it's directly related to public safety, and if not, if that's an option.
Mr. Giddings?
Yeah, this project was planned before COVID showed up, and this is general fund money, and I don't believe it would be eligible for with COVID, with the way that COVID is structured, the rules.
Any further discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
There's the cost of the generator, from what I understand, and then the cost of installation. Is that what we're looking at here?
Yeah, through the mayor, yeah, so all the engineering's been done, and it's been bid, and now we're looking at simply the purchase and installation of the generator.
And when the RFP was put out, was it so these proposals or these bids are based on engineered drawings?
That's correct, 100% design drawings and specifications.
Okay, thank you. I noticed quite a wide gap, to the tune of like double. So, the high end being 164, low end being 86. You don't see that too often when you have a specified drawing. And so that's where my curiosity came from. So the deliverable then, the final product is pretty well, it's predetermined, yes?
So there's 3 different generators, the actual generator itself that are eligible, the design engineer spec 2, and a question came up on a 3rd, and we granted that as acceptable equal. There'll be a submittal process, so once we award, this contractor will develop submittals that will be run through the engineer to determine that they meet spec. That'll be the process before anything gets ordered.
Okay, thank you. So their bids do include the cost of the equipment as well?
Yes.
Okay. So I was looking at the kind of the budget, the line item budget, from the project cost summary, and $150,000. That was the estimate?
That was the budget I put together.
Engineer's estimate?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. That answers a lot of questions for me. I was thinking 86 even might be a little bit high for just the labor component, but appreciate your answers.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll take a roll call vote on the adoption of AM 2114. Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Burney?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Harvey?
Yes.
And Councilmember Rausa.
Yes.
Motion to approve AM number 2114 passes unanimously with Council Members Rausa, Johnson, Burney, Brown, and Harvey in favor. Councilmember Vlock is absent and excused.
Okay. Next on the agenda is communications. Madam Clerk, please read the title of the minutes under communications.
Thank you. That's Wasilla Air Show Advisory Committee meeting minutes from February 17th, 2021.
Are there questions from the council? Hearing none, next on the agenda is audience comments. 3 minutes per person. Jessica. Okay.
I just had to pass along. I've heard a lot of great information or great feedback. Sorry, I'm Jessica Vieira with the Wasilla Chamber of Commerce. Great feedback on the new online business licensing and sales tax system. A lot of my members have greatly enjoyed the ability to pay their sales tax online, and renewing business licenses online is going to be super going forward. So thank you for doing that. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, Madam Clerk.
Let's see here, Madam Mayor. Thank you. Just so everybody's aware, the March 16th special meeting, as you all know, was rescheduled to Thursday, March 18th, 6 o'clock here in Council Chambers. Subject is community policing in the 21st century, understanding the city's public safety model. And then we'll have some subcategories under that. You'll see it with the agenda. live audio streaming. We're streaming now through our meetings portal, through an add-on feature to our agenda management software. So hopefully that's going to solve concerns that have been expressed here at the meeting. If you hear anything from the public regarding the streaming, please pass them along to me. We'd like to do some troubleshooting. We want to make sure that the public's able to do that with ease. And then after our special meeting on the 18th, we'll see you back here for our regular meeting on the 22nd. And that's all I have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Attorney.
Yes, I just wanted to talk about two things. One, the administration and the clerk's office put on a newly elected official training recently, and I was really impressed, and it was great. Everybody was very engaged, so I just wanted to, I was very grateful to be able to participate in that. And I also wanted to, after that training, the clerk and I had a discussion, and moving forward, so long as there's no objection from council, when there's a light agenda, probably about once a quarter, I will try to earn my keep and give a little mini training, and we'll talk about a very specific topic, maybe something that's come up or been interesting to council members, and just sort of a very quick and dirty, short 5 minutes. Let's pick a topic, and hopefully that'll be something very useful and also very short.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Rausa.
Thank you. I don't have any comments.
Councilmember Burney.
It's only Madam Attorney because we have the best clerk's office in the state. And that's not just an opinion. Just a couple things. It's good to be back home. Thank you guys for letting me take some time off, recharge my batteries. Mr. Giddings, I'd like to say thank you to your crew again this year for snow removal and the effort they've done on it. You know, I commute to Anchorage every day, and it's just not the same. And it's good to get back home to clean roads. On the topic of roads, as you can imagine, and you've probably gotten a lot of phone calls, I'm hoping there's a plan in place in the springtime, or when the weather is suited, that the state will come in and work on the Parks Highway. I've gotten a lot of phone calls on that. People stop me that know me, and they're asking me like I have something to do with it. So I said I'd pass it along. And then I was wondering, Madam Mayor, through the mayor to Mr. Giddings, if you guys consider that we have this new technology in our industry on HVAC ionizers for this COVID. I don't know if you guys have looked into that at all. Real down and dirty, simple product that just something to keep in mind that you can use in your facilities, or our facilities. Other than that, it is good to be back. I've missed all your faces and new faces. Welcome. So thank you very much.
Councilmember Johnson.
Nothing to add other than the fact that I'm looking forward to returning back to Alaska.
Okay. Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to also give a special thanks to the clerk's office for the training and to the entire staff. As a new member, it was very educational, informative, the information she put together, and it made me understand more how the city is working, and I look forward to the 15-minute training sessions.
Okay. Councilmember Harvey.
No comments.
Okay. I would like to say to all of you council members, my door is always open, and I know that you guys work during the day and whatever, so if you would like to have a meeting after work or something, please call me, because I have no objections to meeting with you after you get off work. So this week, what do we got going on this week?
You did your PSAs.
We do. I do mayor's minutes, and in those mayor minutes, I try to address like our PPE that's out on the street. Also, I try to give a little history about Wasilla. And one thing I found out was the school building over in the old town site was built in 1917. And in order for them to have a school, they had to have 5 students. They are 6, and they only had 5. Well, Pat Yeller, I think was their name, she made the 6 students so they could have a school, and she was 2 years old. And she later became Wasilla's mayor. So, you know, we've got some very interesting history.
Nikki has joined.
You're a little bit late, Nikki. We are closing out. So, I hope you're enjoying your vacation. I don't know. Anyway, that is all I have. Does anybody have anything else? If not, we are adjourned at 6:36.